OG has been insane lately. OG's been on an absolute tear lately. Over the last 5 games, he's averaging 29 points per game while shooting an insane 60% from the field. That's not normal for a wing. He's hit 54 out of 90 shots and done it with full confidence. From deep, he's been lights out, hitting nearly half of his threes at 48.4%. That's 15 makes out of 31 try. And from the free throw line, he's been nearly automatic, hitting 22 of his 23 attempts, which puts him at 95.7%. His efficiency's off the charts. He's sitting at 72.4% true shooting. That's way above league average and shows just how smart his shot selection's been. His effective field goal percentage is even crazier at 68.3%, and that takes his 3-point makes into account. This stretch of shooting's just flat out elite. He's not dominating the ball, but he's still making good decisions with it. He's dishing out 2.2 assists per game over this run, and he's only turning it over 0.8 times a game. That gives him an assist to turnover ratio of 2.75, which is ridiculously good for a guy who's not the main ball handler. He's moving the ball when he needs to, and he's not making mistakes doing it. On the defense side, he's been a straight menace. He's swiping 2.2 steals per game over this 5-game stretch. That's serious disruption on the perimeter. And even though he's not a big, he's still blocking 0.6 shots a night. That kind of rim protection from the wing spot changes everything for the Knicks. His defensive plus-minus is averaging plus 7.2, which tells you how much better they've been defensively with him on the floor. Rebounding-wise, he's been solid too. He's pulling down 4.2 boards a night, with one of those being on the offensive glass. On defense, he's grabbing 3.2 rebounds per game, and he's fighting in traffic too, with 2 contested rebounds every game. He's not just getting easy ones, he's battling for them. Even his advanced numbers are screaming all-star. His usage rate's only around 19.2%, which means he's not even being used like a primary option. But he's still producing huge numbers. That makes what he's doing even more impressive. His player efficiency rating's hovering over 28, which puts him in the elite tier during this stretch. And his win shares per 48 minutes is sitting at 0.25, which lines up with players that have all-star level impact. Against Portland on March 30th, he put up 28 points with 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks while shooting almost 69% from the field. That's just domination from start to finish. 2 nights before that in Milwaukee, he dropped 31 and was a perfect 10 for 10 from the line. He also grabbed 3 steals and finished with a plus 24 in the box score. That's a statement. When the Knicks played the Clippers on March 26th, he scored 28 points again and did it shooting nearly 65% from the field and 60% from deep. Just one night before that, against Dallas, he exploded for 35 points while shooting over 62% and hitting half of his threes. That's ridiculous volume and efficiency. And it all started on March 22nd against Washington, where he went off for 23 points while hitting 80% of his threes and finishing with a plus 12. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, OG, what makes this all so wild is how sustainable it looks. He's not taking bad shots or forcing anything. He's letting the game come to him and torching whoever's in front of him. His role's not even high usage, but he's still putting up superstar level numbers. There's no fluff in his game right now, just straight up buckets, defense, and elite decision making. I've got to say, it's rare to see a stretch like this where a guy's scoring this efficiently, defending at such a high level, and still playing so mistake-free. There's nothing fluky about it. He's affecting every part of the game and doing it without needing the ball in his hands all the time. That's incredibly valuable, especially for a team looking to make a deep playoff push. This isn't just a hot streak. The numbers back up how dominant he's been across the board. He's scoring like a top option, defending like an all-defensive selection, and his impact's showing up in all the advanced metrics. From true shooting to win shares, every stat you look at says the same thing. OG's been on fire. And the best part, he's doing it all within the flow of the game. No force, no flash, just results. And I think it's pretty safe to say this is the best scoring stretch of OG's career. I mean, listen to this, just how good his scoring stretch has been. Over this 5-game run, he's put up 145 total points, which averages out to 29 points per game. And he's doing it on volume 2. He's taking 18 shots a night and still hitting 60% of them. That's 54 makes on just 90 attempts. There's no wasted motion, no bad shots, just pure efficiency every single time he steps on the floor. And from 3, he's torching nets at 48.4%. That's 15 made threes on 31 tries. That's not just good for a wing, that's top tier, near Curry level accuracy. He's stretching the floor and drilling shots from deep like it's nothing. Add in the fact that he's gone 22 for 23 from the line, and you're looking at a guy who just doesn't leave points on the board. 95.7% 38.7% from the stripe, that's automatic. His true shooting percentage is sitting at 72.4%. That's not just above average, that's elite, top 1% type stuff across the entire league. His effective field goal percentage is 68.3%, which takes into account his three-point shooting and puts him even further ahead of the pack. This isn't just a heater, it's dominance. What really jumps out is how rare this level of production is from a player like him. He's not a heliocentric scorer like Luka or a relentless paint monster like Giannis. He's scoring efficiently without hijacking possession. That makes this stretch even more impressive. It's tough to find wings who score this much, this efficiently, and still impact the game on both ends. OG's doing all of it. Let's go deeper with the comparisons. Luka had a 5-game stretch in February where he averaged over 34 points. That's higher than OG's 29, but his true shooting sat at 62.1%. OG's got him beat by more than 10 full percentage points there. Luka shot 49% from the field, 38% from 3, and under 79% from the free throw line. OG's numbers crush though, especially when you look at the free throw. 22 out of 23 compared to Luka's lower clip. Then there's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He had a run in January where he averaged over 32 points on great efficiency. He shot 55% from the field, 42 from 3, and just over 91% from the line. His true shooting landed at 68.9%, still lower than OG's 72.4, and OG's three-point shooting's better too, 48 compared to Shai's 42. Plus, OG's defense has been way more impactful during this stretch. And Giannis, he was on a tear in early March, putting up nearly 34 points per game. His field goal percentage was slightly higher at over 61%, but his true shooting was still down at 65.2%. He only hit 28% of his threes and just 72% from the line. OG, on the other hand, hit nearly 50% of his threes and nearly 96% from the line. Giannis's style is all about force in the paint, but OG's scoring is coming from all over the floor with surgical precision. Now, if we really look at what separates OG's run from these stars, it's the efficiency combined with versatility. He's scoring at levels similar to league MVPs, but doing it without needing to dominate the ball. His usage rate is under 20%, which means he's not demanding tons of possessions, he's just making every single one of them count. And let's talk plus minus. OG's sitting at a plus 36 across these 5 games. That's not just a winning stretch, that's proof he's elevating the entire team. Luka had a plus 12 in his best run. Shai had plus 28. Giannis came in at plus 22. OG's leading that category, and it lines up with the Knicks going 4-1 in that span. His scoring isn't just empty numbers, it's helping win games. His scoring style is also hard to game plan against. He's shooting 60% from the field overall, and he's doing it while taking nearly half his shots from beyond the arc. You can't sag off him, and you can't overplay the drive. He's picking teams apart because they have to respect every single option. That kind of efficiency on that kind of shot diet is almost impossible to match. And even while he's scoring like this, he hasn't let up on the other end. 2.2 steals per game, 0.6 blocks. He's not just getting buckets, he's locking up on defense too. You don't see that from most guys, scoring 29 a night. The effort's nonstop, and it's showing up in every box score. That's what makes this run so special. It's not just the stats, though the stats are nuts. It's how he's getting them, when he's getting them, and how clean the entire stretch has looked. He's not forcing anything. He's not jacking bad shots. He's just scoring at an incredibly high level and doing it more efficiently than nearly anyone else in the league this season, even if you ignore the defensive side, which you absolutely shouldn't. His scoring alone would make this stretch one of the best in the league this year. When you factor everything in, the shooting splits, the usage rate, the plus minus, the consistency across all 5 games, it becomes clear just how dominant he's been. In an era where volume scorers usually take 30 shots to get 30 points, OG's doing it in 18. That kind of efficiency is rare. That kind of impact is even rarer. He's not just hot, he's producing at a level that stands toe-to-toe with the league's biggest stars, and the numbers back it all up. And the thing is, his defense isn't lacking at all. OG's been an absolute force on the defense lately. Over the past 5 games, he's averaged 2.2 steals per night. And those aren't just lazy pass interceptions. They're momentum-shifting plays that come from reading offenses perfectly. That adds up to 11 steals across those 5 games. Add in 3 total blocks over that same stretch, and it becomes clear he's doing it all, protecting the rim, shutting down his man, and disrupting entire offensive sets. This isn't just solid defense. This is top tier, game-changing defense night after night. His deflection rate's been crazy too, nearly 4 a game. That shows how active and locked in he's been on every single possession. He's constantly in passing lanes, making guards think twice before they even make a move. And when you pair those deflections with the steals and blocks, it paints the picture of a guy who's not just containing his matchup, he's dictating what the offense can and can't do. Now here's where it gets even more impressive, the opponent field goal percentage. Players he's guarded over this stretch are shooting 8.3% worse than their season average. That's not just solid coverage, that's elite on-ball pressure. He's taking premier scorers out of rhythm and doing it across multiple positions: guards, wings, forwards. It hasn't mattered. They're all struggling to get anything off clean against him. His defensive rating over these 5 games sits at 102.1. That number jumps out, especially when you realize the Knicks allow 111.3 points per 100 possessions when he's off the court. That's a swing of over 9 points. That kind of on-off impact on defense is basically unheard of, especially for a non-center. He's completely changing the game on that end. In terms of defensive win shares, he's stacking up almost half a win just from his defense in 5 games, 0.45 per game. That's all NBA level stuff. Defensive win shares measure how much a player contributes to winning through defense alone, and that number shows he's carrying his weight and then some. You don't see many wings doing that with such consistency. He's also been the team's best plus-minus defender during this run. He's averaged a plus 7.2 each night, which means the Knicks have outscored opponents by a total of 36 points in just his minutes. That's the kind of impact that doesn't just show up on paper, it translates directly to win. Now let's break down those games a little closer. Against Portland on March 30th, he racked up 3 steals and 2 blocks. Total control on the perimeter and at the rim. On March 28th in Milwaukee, he again grabbed 3 steals and forced Giannis into 4 turnovers while holding him to 42% shooting. That's not something many wings can claim, especially against someone that physically dominant. 2 nights earlier against the Clippers, he held Kawhi Leonard to 6 of 17 shooting and still came away with the steal. Kawhi's not an easy guy to slow down, and OG didn't just slow him, he shut him down. On March 25th against Dallas, OG picked up 2 steals and a block, controlling space and applying pressure from the opening tip. And back on March 22nd versus Washington, he added 2 more steals to the count, continuing his trend of consistent disruption. Now let's compare all that to the best defenders in the league during their best 5-game stretches this season. Giannis had a run in January where he averaged 1.6 steals and 2.4 blocks. That rim protection's elite, no doubt, but his deflections were just 2.6 per game, and his opponent field goal differential sat at minus 6.1%. OG's deflections were higher, and his opponent field goal percentage was even lower. That tells you OG was more disruptive, especially outside the paint. Giannis's defensive rating was 105.3, solid, but still higher than OG's 102.1. Bam had a big 5-game run in February with 1.8 steals and 1.6 blocks. His deflections were 3.2 per game, and his opponent field goal percentage differential was minus 7.5%. OG topped him in steals, deflections, and opponent field goal impact. Even Bam's defensive rating of 103.8 and his defensive win shares per game of 0.42 still come in just below OG's number. Then there's Caruso, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. During his top stretch this season, he averaged 2.6 steals, 0.8 blocks, and 4.1 deflections a game. His opponent field goal differential was minus 9%. Amazing. But OG was right behind at minus 8.3 while guarding bigger players. Caruso's defensive rating was slightly better at 101.5, and his defensive win shares were slightly higher at 0.48. But OG's ability to guard every position from point guards to center gives him a much broader impact. Caruso doesn't have that same flexibility. That's the difference here. OG's defending everyone from ball handlers to post players and still producing elite numbers. His versatility's what makes this stretch so valuable. While most elite defenders focus on one role, rim protection or point of attack pressure, OG's doing both. He's switching on to stars, blowing up actions, and turning defense into offense with constant deflections and steals. His disruption also directly affects team scheme. With OG locking up on the perimeter, the Knicks don't need to help as much, which allows their rotations to stay tighter. That's a ripple effect you can't fully capture with just stats, but his plus-minus shows how real it is. 36 points in 5 games, that's real impact. And when you combine his defensive production with the fact that he's scoring nearly 30 points per night, you're talking about arguably the best two-way stretch of the season. Not just from him, from anyone in the league. None of the top defenders mentioned were scoring efficiently while defending at this level. That two-way dominance is rare. This isn't just 5 games of good defense. This is a stretch where he's locking down some of the best scores in the world and still leading the Knicks in plus-minus. It's elite from every angle, from raw stats to advanced metric to matchup impact. There's no fluke here. Every possession, every steal, every forced miss, it's all part of a stretch that's among the most complete defensive performances we've seen this year. OG's making life miserable for his matchups and giving the Knicks a defensive backbone that's been nearly impossible to crack. You just don't see this level of consistent lockdown production very often, and especially not from someone doing so much on the other end too. OG's last 5 games on defense haven't just been good, they've been straight up dominant. And the thing is, the Knicks are always better when he's on the floor. OG's on-off numbers over the past 5 games have been absolutely wild. When he's on the court, the Knicks are a completely different team, flat out better on both ends. The numbers don't lie. They've got a defensive rating of 102.1 with him out there. But when he sits, that jumps all the way up to 111.3. That's a swing of 9.2 points per 100 possessions. That's not just impactful, that's one of the most dominant defensive on-off splits in the league this season. And the offensive impact is there too. The Knicks' overall net rating with him on the floor is plus 18.5. When he's off, it drops to plus 3.1. That's a net rating swing of 15.4 points. That's elite territory, not just for a wing, but for any player, period. That kind of shift is usually reserved for MVP level stars, and OG's doing it with lockdown defense, efficient scoring, and mistake-free basketball. Take opponent effective field goal percentage. With OG on the floor, opposing teams are shooting just 47.2% in EFG. When he's off the court, that jumps to 52.3%. That's a 5.1% drop when he plays. That's a massive difference. It shows he's not just guarding his man, he's making the whole opposing offense less efficient. He's also averaged 0.45 defensive win shares per game over this 5-game stretch. That puts him right at the top of the league in terms of defensive contribution to wins. He's impacting games in real time and over the long haul. You can't ask for more than that. The plus-minus tells the same story. In his minutes over this 5-game run, the Knicks have outscored opponents by 36 points total. That's not a fluke. That's the result of elite two-way play. He's making the right reads, hitting his shots, and shutting down whoever he's assigned to. And the Knicks are thriving because of it. Let's break it down against the league's elite. Giannis had a dominant stretch in January where his defensive rating swing was minus 6.5. That's good, really good. But OG's at minus 9.2. OG's net rating swing is also higher, plus 15.4 compared to Giannis's plus 11.2. And when you look at opponent EFG percent, OG forces a bigger drop too, 5.1% compared to Giannis's 3.8. Even though Giannis brings more on offense, OG's defensive impact during this stretch is clearly stronger. Nikola Jokic is the engine of one of the most efficient teams in the league, but even during his best stretch this season, his defensive rating swing was only minus 4.1. His opponent EFG percent impact was just minus 2.3%, and his net rating swing was plus 12.8, which is still less than OG's 15.4. OG may not run the offense like Jokic, but the numbers show he's been a more disruptive and more impactful two-way presence during this stretch. Then there's Jason Tatum. He had a fantastic 5-game run in March. His defensive rating swing was minus 5.7. His opponent EFG percent differential was minus 3.5%. Both solid numbers, but still behind OG's. Tatum's net rating swing was 13.5, again slightly below OG's 15.4, and OG's doing it while guarding more positions and racking up more steals. He's been more efficient on both ends in that stretch. And now let's talk clutch time. In the final minutes of close games, during this 5-game span, the Knicks allowed just 94.7 points per 100 possessions when OG was on the court. When he sat, that number jumped to 112.1. That's a clutch defensive rating swing of over 17 points. For comparison, Jokic's clutch defensive swing was just over 6 points. Giannis sat at 12. Tatum didn't crack double digit. OG blew them all away in the biggest moments. Even lineup combinations proved the point. The Knicks' most effective 5-man unit during this stretch featured OG alongside Mitchell Robinson. That lineup posted a net rating of plus 22.3. Giannis's best lineup during his top stretch only hit plus 18.1. OG's presence makes elite lineups even more dangerous, and that's a trait every contender values. And here's something that really separates him. His efficiency on offense hasn't dropped while he's dominating defensively. He's scoring 29 points per game during the stretch with a true shooting percentage of 72.4. That's rivaling Jokic's efficiency while blowing him out of the water on defense. And again, OG's usage is under 20%. That means he's not dominating the ball. He's just finding his moment, making the right play, and still controlling games on the other end. Add in the steal to turnover ratio. OG's at 2.75. That's a massive advantage over the other stars, especially ones with higher usage. Giannis is sitting at 1.5 during his best stretch. Jokic is at 1.2. Tatum's around 1.8. OG's defensive reads are sharper, and he's protecting the ball better. That makes him even more valuable over long stretches. So to recap, OG's last 5 games feature a defensive rating swing of -9.2, a net rating swing of +15.4. Opponents are shooting 5.1% worse when he's on the floor. His team's defense improves drastically, his offense stays elite, and his clutch minutes are straight up dominant. Giannis, Jokic, and Tatum have all had great runs, but OG's 5-game stretch might be the most complete two-way impact any player's had this season. And what makes it even scarier, he's not even the first or second option on offense. He's doing all this within the flow of the game, without needing to force anything. The scoring, the defense, the on-off splits, it's all clean, all consistent, and all elite. This is how you anchor a team without needing to dominate the box score in every category. OG's doing it by maximizing every possession and every second he's on the court. And the thing is, he's stepped up while Brunson has been out. OG stepped up in a massive way since Jalen Brunson went down. Over the last 11 games without him, OG's scoring jumped from his season average of 17.5 all the way up to 22.4 points per game. That's a serious leap, and it's not coming from chucking bad shots either. He's done it while increasing his efficiency. His field goal percentage has risen to 48.8%, up from 47 on the season. He's made 84 shots on 172 attempts during this stretch, and he's taken on a much bigger offensive load without blinking. He's also stayed sharp from deep, hitting 39.4% of his threes on 66 attempts. That's a lot of volume, especially considering his catch and shoot opportunities have dropped. He's creating more off the dribble now, and that's not easy to do while keeping your percentages up. And from the line, he's been nothing short of elite. 45 makes on 51 attempts, good for 88.2%. That's up nearly 7 points from his season average. He's getting to the line more too, over 5 free throw attempts a game compared to just under 3 with Brunson active. His true shooting percentage during this stretch has climbed to 61.5%. That's well above league average, and even more impressive considering the higher volume and tougher shot profile. With Brunson out, defenses are loading up more, but OG's still finding ways to score efficiently, and he's doing it from everywhere on the floor. Look at how his shot selection shifted. Over half of his attempts, 51.1%, are coming from within 10 feet of the rim. That's up from just under 45% across the season. He's not settling. He's attacking the paint, putting pressure on defenders, and making them foul him or give up layups. His three-point shots are no longer just catch-and-shoot looks either. Only 30% of his threes are catch-and-shoot now, down from nearly 39%. That shows he's creating his own shots more often and still hitting at a high clip. He's also flashed a little more playmaking in this expanded role. His assists are steady at just over 2 per game, but he exploded for 8 dimes in the win against Sacramento. That game wasn't just a scoring clinic, it was a full-on takeover. He finished with 24 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and 5 steals. That made him the first Knick since 2009 to put up that kind of stat line. That's a crazy feat, and it shows how well-rounded his game's become. His usage rate has climbed too, now sitting around 21%, up from 19.2 on the season. That might not seem like a huge jump, but it means he's getting more touches, taking more responsibility, and still playing within the flow of the offense. And he's not turning the ball over either. Even with more possessions running through him, he's staying in control. And then there's the defense, which hasn't dropped off at all. In fact, it's gotten better. He's averaging 2.1 steals per game without Brunson. That's up from 1.5 for the full season. He's been a total pest, especially on the perimeter, and his on-ball work has been huge, holding stars like Luka and Giannis well below their usual shooting numbers. The Knicks are allowing just 2.1 points per 100 possessions when he's on the floor during this stretch. That's elite team defense, and OG's leading the charge. Opponents are shooting 8.3% worse when he's defending them. That's not a typo, that's a complete shutdown. He's making great scores look average and doing it while playing over 35 minutes a night in most of these games. He's not just resting on defense while carrying a bigger offensive load. He's locking in and getting stops every possession. The Knicks have gone 6-5 without Brunson during this stretch, and that's not a coincidence. OG's been the steady force keeping them afloat. He's not just filling a gap, He's become the team's most reliable two-way presence. His net rating swing is massive, plus 15.4. The team's net rating with him on the court has been plus 18.5, compared to plus 3.1 when he's off. That's not just a helpful impact, that's star-level impact. That's how you stay competitive when your lead guard is out. And over these 11 games, his total plus-minus is plus 36. That means when OG's on the floor, the Knicks are still beating teams, even without their best scorer and playmaker. He stepped up in the clutch too. In the win over Milwaukee, he dropped 20 points in the fourth quarter alone, finishing with 31 total and sealing the victory himself. That's not just production, that's leadership. His defensive win shares during this stretch sit at 0.45 per game. That's the kind of number you see from all defensive team candidates, and he's doing it while carrying a heavier scoring load than ever before in his career. That combination, 61.5% true shooting, and over 2 steals a game just doesn't happen often. It's a rare balance of offensive aggression and defensive lockdown ability. The Knicks haven't needed OG to become someone new. They've just needed him to expand what he already does well, and he's delivered in every category. More points, better efficiency, more defensive disruption, and the ability to create his own looks and play make in a pinch. He's kept the team steady while Brunson recovers, and he's shown he's capable of handling a bigger role whenever it's needed. No drop-off, no excuses, just straight-up production on both ends. OG's been the Knicks MVP over the past 11 games, and it's not even close. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.